it back to the trail. Stayed at the hotel, and I've never been to such a more reasonable, I mean it's not cheap, but it's definitely reasonable, hotel that had been so clean and people have been so helpful there. So that was a great experience. And then I had a gentleman, I believe his name is Gary, he picked me up and dropped me off, and that made it really nice to be able to get back to the trail. So we're on a little bit of an alternative that's going to connect us here in a few miles. We got a lot of vert to gain to get there. Up that hill in a mile. It's hot. It's going to be 90 by 3. We'll start this next leg. Well, that's Butte. That is something else. That poor land got tore up. That is where we're trying to get to tonight. It is said that there's a working spigot up there in one comment. The other comment said they couldn't find one. Hopefully we can. We made it back to the CDT official route. Woohoo! Holy moly. That was a steep climb. And no water. We drank most of our water. One of the coolest things that I think about Butte is the rock formations around Butte. Super cool. It's just like this everywhere. It reminds me of kind of like petrified dinosaur poop. But it's cool nonetheless. We have Pride Rock here. Getting closer. Maybe there's water! Well, we made it. And this thing is giant. I don't think there's any comparison from me to it. I assume that this is all the people that have helped make the Lady of the Rockies. So we have water, but it doesn't taste very good. And we've come across a water source that is collected from under a tree. So how could you pass up that opportunity? When Alex left at the last section, I realized that I wasn't in a good space. I was just very negative in my thinking and just not positive. I was talking to my medicine man over my 0 day, and he was explaining to me that a woman's moon cycle is basically going through like a mini sweat. A woman is like a sponge. She'll soak up all the energy that she is around, and her moon cycle is where you're expelling it all. And shedding negative energy at times, a lot of the times, you'll feel it. And I was just not in a happy way. And that's probably what was happening. So he challenged me during my next cycle to look at it from that perspective and see if I can be able to determine what's my energy and what's not my energy, and maybe that will help. And then we got into a little bit of a conversation on during the last section, and this guy just came up swearing and screaming like profanity, like just so angry. And I looked up and I could just see like pure evil coming off of him. He was angry. And I looked the other way quickly because I didn't want any part of that. I didn't want any of that. I told him that I had been feeling really angry too. I had been in a bad way and I thought it was about my cycle. I was in my tent one night with the doors closed and I saw a shadow there and it like quickly dissipated, and like I had gotten like a really, really bad fear feeling over me. And then he started connecting things and he said, now everything makes perfect sense to me. You probably have walked through a place on Mother Earth that needs healing. There is a spirit or a ghost there that is stuck there that is just not a healthy spirit or a healthy ghost, and it's stuck there, and that's probably why the man was so angry, and that's probably why you were so angry, as you guys collected that energy from the spirit or the ghost. And then I went on to tell him that the raven, I was coming down the hill and there was a raven cawing at me right next to me, but I couldn't see the raven. But I got a really like bad antsy feeling of like something's wrong. The raven is the connection between the spirit world and the real world, and the raven was most likely warning me that there was something bad in the area. Once I took my 0 day and I just rested and I smudged myself all the time, but just rested, and I was able to just like shed all of that, and I was just in a good spot again. I was just in a good place again. But my medicine man has told me, Lucas has told me that we're going to do processes on the land out here where we can allow those spirits or those ghosts to cross over. So I am going to be setting up altars as I go, and it should help these spirits cross over. So I'll be doing that at all the places I camp. We have made it to where we were deciding to camp, but there's just a lot of widowmakers around us. Widowmakers are known for just that. They are known for falling and crushing or killing people and making somebody a widow. We found a rock that we could possibly sleep under without getting crushed by a tree. So we're going to try that. I think we're both really exhausted. Minnow made us stop and take a nap today, so she's tired. And I'm tired. This is our cave, or our rocks that we're going to sleep under. Minnow dug out a flat spot for us. I think this rock will keep us dry. We'll see, I guess. Last night was not fun. The rock shelter did not hold up in the rain, and we got soaked. Backpack soaked. Minnow's backpack soaked. Some of the batteries got wet. My shoes soaked. Sleeping bag, thermarest, those all got pretty wet. The tent itself inside was just soaked. Jacket back there, that was wet. Everything was wet. I should have filmed it, but I didn't. I was more concerned with keeping my stuff dry. Minnow was soaked. We set the tent up as much as we could in under this rock because it was pouring rain outside, and drug it down there and staked it out. I threw my sleeping bag and my thermarest inside. It was a wild night last night. Apparently we needed to get washed off. Collected a lot of elk berries. They're tiny berries, so you need to collect a lot to get your bang for your buck. And we're gonna add them to our tea. It's gonna be glorious. Come across an old mine. Where I'm going to camp is about half a mile away from here, and there's no water. I'm going to be doing a 0 day there too, so we're stocking up. I will be carrying 9 liters of water, but it's only half a mile, so you can do anything for half a mile, right? Well, it's raining again, and today's our 0 day, so we're just spending our 0 day in our tent. Not too exciting. I'm kind of looking forward to just napping and resting up my body. Minnow, are you looking forward to napping? So the rain has let up, so we're gonna have some lunch. And I'm pretty excited for my lunch. This time around we have meat sticks, hot and spicy, and green chili hatch, and there's baller. They're baller. Crackers and cheese. Dinner tonight is chili from John Bailey. I'm pretty excited about this one. I added a little bit of cheese, and I also added some beans from another gentleman by the name of Marv that gave us some dehydrated meals. Also with dinner, we'll be having some cheese crackers. The storms are back, but that's okay because our shelter held up. And we stayed dry last night during that last night's storm. So I have no worries. We have a nice dry place to be. It's really coming down. There's bits of hail every now and then. Well, we just finished packing up and we're gonna head off to our next spot. But just as we finish, this shows up. It's so pretty. One of my most favorite things in the whole world. Minnie cuddling with me, resting her head on my neck. Minnie! 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 Don't hit me! Stop it! I was just sitting here getting ready to have my tea, and I had a thought of how far I've come from being comfortable in the wilderness. I used to be that girl that was afraid to go hike by myself. I used to be that girl where I had to sleep in the middle of the tent because I thought a critter would get us. And over time, and with help from others, I grew out of that. Yeah, I've come a long way. I'm out here by myself. I can make a fire by myself. I hiked in the dark. I hiked in the rain by myself. So, I mean, if you don't know how, that's okay. You just gotta start somewhere. You know, go out with friends or go walk around in a park or something. Find your limits and start growing. Not allowing fear to control you. Not necessarily that fear is all a bad thing, because it's not. It makes you aware of things. It makes you think about things. Makes you think things through. But where the problem lies is when you allow fear to control yourself. When you allow fear to stop yourself from doing the things that you enjoy doing or the things that you want to try doing. And eventually those things won't scare you anymore. It's just something that was in the past. I was also thinking about my dad. My dad wasn't a bad person. He just had a lot of things that he needed to work through that it just wasn't a thing back then, I think. Like, depression wasn't a thing. I mean, it was, but it was a covered up thing. He had a lot of anger issues, but you know, in the Army, they use anger as a tool to survive. I remember this one New Year's my dad had to work. We were bummed. Like, I mean, we both loved our dad, and we were bummed that he couldn't be there, and he called almost every hour while he was at work. And I mean, cell phones weren't really a thing back then. He had to go find a real phone to call us just to check in, see how we were doing, to kind of be part of us and celebrate with us. Yeah, and I just had that thought this morning, so I thought I would share that with you. Seeking out those peaceful thoughts. That's what it's about. Your normal thru hiker, your typical thru hiker sock. It's like there's already a foot inside. Today is our last day by ourselves. We will hike to a camping spot with water that Alex can hopefully get to, and he will meet us tomorrow. This trip is starting to get pretty lonely. The loneliest times are at night when you're just laying there with nobody around, or having dinner and nobody around. So we're gonna switch things up a bit, but you'll have to wait to find out. These shoes smell horrible. Speaking of that, an update on my ankle. The swelling is completely down. It's back to normal. It's still tender at times. Not as tender as it used to be. Like, I can move it and it's fine. That hurts. Laying it flat, trying to stretch it hurts. So I did something to it. I don't really know what. But it's still getting us where we need to be, so that's good, and it's not like aching. So we'll just keep rolling with it. This spot has been good. It's provided us water, it's provided us shelter, no trees fell on us. Saw a northbounder, so that's good. He was a little lonely, so we had to talk just a little bit. Your breath fills you with energy anywhere and anytime you need it. Come across my first trail magic. Woohoo! That's so exciting. Let's see what's in there. Lots of soda. Some beer? No, it's a cream soda. Oh my god, and water. There's a frisbee in there. That's so awesome. How fantastic. I went for the cream soda. We have raspberries. The whole creator. Guides, teachers, protectors. I ask that you join in and help and cleanse and purify my energetic body. I ask that anybody that I come in contact with on this journey, may they be filled with peace and wrapped in love and have joy in their hearts. I ask that my own journey be filled with peace and love and joy and continued growth and continued success. I ask that the sage remove any impurifications, any negativities, sadness, anger, confusion, doubt. I give honor to the sage and to all the earthly elements. Would you like to see Echo? They're gonna come up that road to see Echo and your dad. They'll be right there. They will. Sugar. Easy ride.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. We also have a Patreon page at patreon.com/mindbodysoulfilm.